Okay, one more as the computer bounces around here. Okay, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga with Purpose. And our purpose today is to focus on the pieces of the sun salutation and so how we can modify that in different ways and move through sun salutation with a lot of options. And a great option is to have a chair for sun salutations, but you can also use a wall for things like the plank and the chaturanga and the downward dog. So feel free to go to the wall if you need that also. And you can also upgrade to be using your mat. I have a pair of moderate hand weights, a pair of fives that we can add to our practice. The sun salutations, we can spend a fair amount of time on our hands. So I want to warm up our wrists. So what I'd like for you to do is just start to shift your weight forward and back into your feet. So I'm going up with my heels and then up with the balls of my feet. And just kind of find that little up and down. It's not very big. Once you get the mechanics of that, align your spine really well with your good posture. And then your hands are in front of your body, and I'm just pedaling my wrists. So as my feet come up, one hand flexes. As my heels come up, the other hand flexes. And just find a nice rhythm with this. It's going to get us kind of focused on our balance a little bit, keying into warming up both the feet and the hands, the ankles and the wrists. So let's do about another 15 seconds of this here. I'm feeling it definitely stretching through my wrists, and just go through a comfortable range of motion. And 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, come into a small little chair pose. Bring your palms to heart center, and I want you to reach the hands forward. Then turn your hands so your fingers come toward you and they're in like this. So this is kind of an interesting movement to learn. So now I have the back of my hands together. I'm going to go forward, spin them around, and pull them in. Yeah. So you'll feel your wrists flexing. And then I want you to come up and down with your legs. Up. This is definitely a mind-body exercise. So if your brain wasn't awake yet this morning, it's going to get there for sure. So you'll notice my elbows kind of go out to the side. So this is a nice gentle warm-up for my shoulders, as well as the wrists, flexing the wrists. And I'm not pushing really hard into the tops of my hands, but a little bit. So I'm feeling that stretch. Now, for most exercises that we do, we can reverse it, right? So come in toward you, push away. Keep circling your wrists. If you're finding it's too hard to go up and down and keep doing that, then just stay in your chair pose. And starting to feel some work in the quads and glutes. Make sure your knees are tracking appropriately over the feet. Now let's do about 3 more of these. Rotate around. 1 and 2 and 3. Come all the way up. Let's do a breaststroke. So take the hands right in front of the body, reach forward, pull out, and a little bit back and around. And then you can add your chair pose down, up, and around. You can close and open your hands a little bit if you want here too, just to work on the fingers. Nice big deep breath as you move the arms back. So if you were swimming in a pool, your head would be in the water here, and then you'd be inhaling, exhaling. Couple more. Really warming up the body. And then come up, slow back stroke. So reach that arm around, look behind. And then as that hand comes forward, other one reaches behind. So I want you to think about mobilizing your neck. You're twisting your spine a little bit. Your feet are nice and stable. Your knees are stable. Your hips are pretty stable. They might move a little, but not too much. And really turn the head. Of course, making these circles a size that is in a pain-free range of motion. One more to each direction. Go ahead, then soften the knees, come down a little bit. So I'm almost like in a half lift, not quite. And we're going to do our crawl stroke. So bring one hand around, let that hand come in the water, bring the other hand around. And make sure your knees are bent. You've really got your core engaged. So that's protecting your lower back. Try to look behind you up toward the ceiling. Nice, just checking in on those shoulders. And let's go one more each side. Then rise up. We'll inhale, circle sweep, the arms all the way up. Take and interlace your hands together if that feels okay for your shoulders. We'll take a little side bend and up and the other way. If that position is problematic, then just bring the hands down. Side stretch from here or even down here. It's just more about what the waist is doing. But with the arms up, we really definitely get a fuller, more complete stretch through the sides of the body. Good. Two more each direction. This is a great time to check in. Just go, oh, how is my entire body feeling today? Where is it going to take me in my practice? And back to center. Lower the hands just down to goalpost arms. Your elbows should be slightly below the shoulders. We'll pull back to open the heart and then press the palms together and sink back into your chair. Inhale, open. Exhale, in. Good. When you press the palms, you can really push and feel some strength in the chest muscles and the shoulders. And then I love to add head mobility with this. So open and look to the right and close. Open and look to the left and close. One more each side. I definitely feel the body heating. Last one. And hold your chair pose. Pick your right heel up off the floor. Set it down, your left heel. Good. Now, if you want, you can change your arms to anything else as you're doing this. So this would be a traditional chair, or we could do an airplane arms chair, or just have hands at heart center, or you can move your arms around. So anything you'd like to do with your upper body here, just to kind of complete your shoulder warm up. And we're shifting our body weight a little bit over to one foot and to the other, but our head is not coming up and down. It's just staying really level. Push into your palms if you have your hands at heart center. Create that strength training there. One more each foot. And then press all the way up. Come to a nice strong mountain pose. Pull those shoulders back. Engage your abs. And then either using the chair or the floor, we're going to come into a down dog. So I'll turn sideways and use my chair for a moment. So let's inhale and reach up, stretch. Exhale, fold forward to the chair or floor and walk your feet back to a nice down dog. And if down dog ever becomes problematic while we're doing a sun salutation, a child's pose works really great. So it's this same position with the upper body, but you're on your knees in a child's pose. So always feel comfortable coming to that if needed. And let's breathe here. Inhale and exhale 3 more breaths. Stretching and lengthening. 2 more breaths. Last one. Then walk the feet back up toward the top of your mat. Let's find a forward bend so we can use the hands on the chair. We can place our hands on our shins and just lengthen through the hamstrings. 3 breaths here in our forward fold. Check in. How's your low back today? How tight are the backs of the legs? How does the body feel? Then bend the knees a little bit more. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, drop the hands down. Return to your mountain pose. Okay, we're going to have the chair there available as we need it for a little bit. If you need padding for your knees, what we're going to do is come down to all fours here. So take your time, any way that works good for you to come to all fours. Hands and knees will continue to warm up a little bit through the wrists and the spine. So let's come to a few rounds of cat and cow, just rounding the back up, opening the back body, and then dropping the belly down, lifting the tailbone, shining the heart forward. Remember, if you have any wrist issues, you can come up onto your fists, make fists for wrists, and that keeps your wrists a little straighter. You can also put your hands on your hand weights, and that helps as well. As you wrap your fingers around the weight, you can keep your wrists straight. Good. One more of each movement. And then come to a neutral spine. Reach the hands extended out. Come into an extended child's pose or a puppy pose. Everybody's child's pose looks a little different. You might feel more comfortable sitting your bottom down all the way to your heels. My knees don't bend that much, so my hips are always a little higher up. So whatever feels comfortable for your joints, shoulders, knees, and hips. So we're going to cycle back and forth from child's pose to a kneeling plank. So if we have the hands way out ahead of us, as you inhale, come forward and then level off your hips. Your knees and your shoulders should all be in a straight line. Your head position should be perfect. So we'll inhale when we're in plank, then exhale to go back to your extended child's pose. And then just use your breath to flow through these 2 positions. Take as much time as you'd like in each one. And as you come forward, your shoulders are just over your wrists. And then as you come back, that's that position that our shoulders are in downward dog, but it's a little bit more moderate here in child's pose. So it should feel like a nice stretch. So our plank or kneeling plank is the first part of a half series vinyasa. So what we're going to do now is come forward to your kneeling plank, hold, keep your elbows in close to your body, and come all the way down to the mat. Lift your upper back up a little bit, come into cobra. Now make sure your chin is slightly tucked. Your legs are really active. And then lower your chest down. Inhale back up to cobra. So I'm using my hands a little bit here, but I'm using the muscles of my back, my spinal extensors. Up and down. Breathing whenever it feels right for you. It's kind of hard to breathe into the belly when we're laying on it, so try to expand through your ribs. And up and down. Now let's press yourself all the way back up to kneeling plank. So push with those arms. Up and back to child's pose. Now, if doing this full half series bothers your wrists or shoulders, you can pick any part of what we have just done, but I'm going to put it all together. So let's inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, come down to the belly. Inhale, lift to cobra. Exhale to lower your chest. Inhale to push yourself back up. Exhale to come back to your child's pose. Now this can be pretty strenuous for the upper body, so we're only going to do 2 more rounds. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, this is our chaturanga coming down. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the back up. Exhale, lower. Inhale to push your body back up. Strong arms. Exhale back to child's pose. Just one more sequence. Inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, control and lower yourself down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push up. Exhale back to child's pose. Take a break here. If it feels better for your shoulders, you can bring your arms next to the sides of the body to relax. You can do a couple little wrist circles. So that is a challenging half series vinyasa, even from our knees. And we've been working on planks a lot, so that's really helping to support our core. Okay, so let's rise back up to all fours. We'll tuck our toes to lift our hips up to downward dog. Feel free to use your chair if necessary there. And then we're going to either walk or take a couple big steps up to the top of our mat, back into our forward fold. Come up halfway to half lift, nice flat back. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale to rise up, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute, reach. Exhale the hands to heart center or next to the sides of the body for mountain pose. All right, option to grab your weights here. We are going to come in and out of chair with the weights right at the heart center. Feet about hips distance apart. We sit down into chair and rise back up, squeeze the glutes. Down into chair and rise up. So if you don't have the weights, just press your palms at heart center. But the weight gives you a little bit more workload into the legs, a little bit more core stability. 3 more. I'm just going to face toward you for a second. And 2. And 1. Now as you rise up, let your hands come down to the side of the body. As you sit into chair, curl both arms into the chest. And stand. We're down and up. Feel your weight sitting back into your heels here as you sit into that chair pose squat. Now, as you stand, I want you to try to squeeze your shoulder blades together and maybe lift your arms back behind your body just a little bit. Sit, and then press your arms back. You can do this without weights, and it still really works well for engaging the upper back. We have 3. And 2. And 1. Then hold your chair pose isometric. You can stay completely still like a wall sit, or you can do very small little pulses down and up. Just about 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, press all the way up. 1, and set your weights forward and rest. Great job. Okay, sitting into chair with shoulder range of motion. So we'll sit back into chair and extend the arms up any amount, and then really push them back as far as you can. So now that we don't have weights, we can find more range of motion. But again, do what feels best for your shoulders. If it's a little tweaky to come up really high, you don't have to. And press back. And let's do 3 more here. Range of motion, strengthen the legs, stabilization of the core. Last one, and come up. Okay, let's bring the hands either to the chair or floor and step the right foot back. Come into a lunge position, big step, and once you have your balance, you can let go of the chair or rise up from the floor. Left hand comes to the hip, right arm reaches up, we stretch. Now I have my back heel lifted up. This is called high crescent lunge, but you can also lower that back heel to the floor if you have any issues with toe arthritis, or if you need a little bit more stabilization for balance. Good. Inhale, exhale, 1 more breath. And then we are going to lower that back knee down to the floor. If you need your hands on your chair or down to the floor, be sure you have some help with that. We're going to bring our knee all the way down. This is low lunge. I'm going to step my front foot forward a little bit more. So a great big hip flexor stretch here. And then we'll come into twisting prayer lunge. So we bring the right elbow across towards the knee. If it doesn't land on the thigh, that's okay. You can be up. And then we'll try to press the palms together and look up over the left shoulder. Good. So a lot of times in our sun salutation, we'll see these different poses inserted in the sequencing. This one is for the hip flexor, for balance, and rotation of the spine. 1 more breath. Now we will stretch the front leg hamstring. So we can use our hands forward on the chair, down on the floor, and start to straighten out the front leg any amount. So again, there's a lot of variations to do on this one. Some people sit their bottom all the way down to the back heel to do this stretch. For me, I need to stay upright, less knee bend. And it's mostly about the stretch here in the left hamstring. So just start to explore this and see where it takes you. You can also use your dumbbells as props like blocks here, which works really great. This feels nice for me. I feel stable. And the stretch feels just right. It's not too deep, but I really do feel it. Let's take a couple more breaths. And my foot is flexed, so my toes are lifting up to really feel that stretch in the calf as well. And then we slowly rebend this front knee. And again, you can use your hands on the floor or the chair. And we are going to stand up. So try to tuck your back toes under and push up. Step the back foot in and rise up to stand. Wow. Okay, just check in. Draw your shoulders back. And then we'll place our hands either down to the chair or the floor. And let's step the left foot way back behind into our high crescent lunge. So the width of your legs is all dependent on what you want to do here today. And then the right hand goes to the hip. The left arm reaches. And this is one of those poses where if we tighten our back leg glute, the front of our hip will release a little bit more. Good cervical placement, eyes are on the horizon. Shoulder blades are back and down even though the arm is lifted. Breathing and stabilizing. Wonderful pose for strength and balance and range of motion. Okay, now maybe using the chair or down to the floor, we're going to drop the back knee down and take a few seconds to adjust your position. So we want the knee behind the hip to open up the hip flexor, and we want to make sure the front knee is in alignment with the ankle. Now, if this is where you just want to stay with your hands on the chair, terrific. If you want to try that twisting prayer lunge, we bring the left elbow toward the right knee. And if you feel comfortable, push your palms together to rotate. And another option for this twist, if you like it, is to bring your left hand down to the floor and rotate here, or even lift the top arm. So lots of ways we can twist the spine in our low lunge. Good. 2 to 3 more breaths. Tensing up that left glute, stretch the left hip flexor. Great. As we come back to the midline, hands can go to the chair or to the floor or to your blocks or your weights, and we'll start to straighten out the front leg, elongate, pull your toes up, and find your hamstring stretch here. And then a wall is another nice option for the hamstring stretch. If you're up pretty high, you can have your hands forward like this on the wall to help brace you. So use the props that you need to make your practice comfortable. So you're not straining or stressing as you're trying to hold these stretches. And bring your awareness into your breath. Lengthen the spine long. A little tiny, tiny small bend in your front knee. So we're not locking that joint out, or even more of a bend is fine, whatever you need. Let's take 2 more really slow, deep breaths here. And then we'll prepare to rebend the front knee forward. Then using any props that you need to, we'll tuck the toes back under to stand up and step back in with the back foot. Maybe come to a forward fold just for a moment there as we collect all back together in our practice. Then we'll inhale to sweep the arms up, stretch. Exhale to find your mountain pose, either hands at your heart or by your side. Okay, still facing your chair as an option. I'm just going to move my blanket out of the way a little bit so I don't step back on it and slip. So we are going to come into another hamstring stretch called pyramid. So with your chair in front of you, your left foot is in front, your right foot takes a nice step back. It's not really far, and your back foot is just slightly turned out. Both of our legs are straight, and we want to hinge or not hinge yet, but spiral your hips so they're facing straight forward. And I like to do that by putting my hands right here on my pelvis, because then I can feel, am I turned out to the right or am I squared? And then with a nice long spine, we start to hinge forward. And as soon as you feel the stretch down the back of the left leg, that's where you want to stay. You can support your hands on the chair if you'd like. Or there's a lot of ways we can advance our pyramid. Sometimes we see a reverse prayer hands position behind the back. That's really intense wrist stretch. Or we can see the hands reaching forward. A lot of choices here. So you decide on the upper body. And let's take 5 breaths in our pyramid to really stretch the hamstrings. Maybe find the sinking breath where our exhalation is twice as long as the inhalation. Now we're going to add a twist with this, and it's sometimes easier to navigate if our feet are further apart from side to side. So I'm going to walk my left foot to the side a little more so I have more space. Right hand stays on my chair, or you can take it down to the floor or a block if you feel pretty flexible in the hamstring. And we're going to turn our left shoulder up toward the ceiling, or maybe even reach the arm up. So this is a modification of a revolved triangle pose. Now for me, what I'm really feeling is my back leg, that calf is really stretching because I have my foot pretty parallel and my heel is pressing down to the floor. I definitely feel the rotation. Let's take 2 more breaths. This hand can even wrap behind the lower back, which is a great shoulder stretch, looking up to the ceiling. 1 more breath. Then come out of that twist, back to your pyramid, just briefly stretch, maybe sink down a little lower. Then slightly bend the front knee and bring the feet back to the top of your mat. And just come on up and just compare what you feel in the sides of your body, right to left. And then take your time to set up on the other side. So your right foot will be the front foot. Your left foot steps back, maybe I would say about 2.5 feet or so. And we straighten both legs. We align the pelvis forward. And then whenever you feel ready, begin to hinge. And try not to have any expectations on where you're going to go on this side, because it can be completely different from what you experienced on the other side. Just take your time to find a comfortable edge, maybe support. I am a fair amount more flexible on this side, so I feel like I could even just use my weights to support. And that feels like a gentle stretch, not too intense. And it's okay, again, if you're way up here and this is your good stretch, that's okay. Be okay with that. Just see where your body resides today in this pose. Just a couple more breaths in pyramid. And then we're going to add a rotation. So what I want to do first is walk my right foot a little wider on my mat so I have more space for my pelvis to turn. Left hand stays on the chair, or you can have it down on the floor or on a block. And we lift the right shoulder blade up. We can lift the arm as well if that feels okay. And that really deepened it right into my back leg calf. As soon as I added that stretch, wow, the calf is lengthening. But it feels like one of those things I need, so I'm going to stay with it. Top arm can wrap behind the back, wherever you'd like it. Let's see how far you can look up toward the ceiling, moving the neck. Let's try for 3 more breaths here. Our revolved triangle modification. And then take your time to come out of the rotation, hands to the chair or to the floor. We'll step the back foot forward and then find your good mountain pose. Now my calves feel even to some degree. Okay, let's take one round of sun salutation using the chair as an option. If you already want to go down to the mat, please feel free to do that, or if you want to go to your wall. So let's inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive down into forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hands either to the floor or chair, step back into downward dog. Stretch. Now using the chair, our half series vinyasa, we inhale, glide forward to plank. Exhale to bend the elbows a little bit and drop the hips for a modified upward facing dog. Then we press back to our down dog. Walk the feet back forward into forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, mountain pose. So you can continue with that option using your chair. Next option, we'll use the mat and we'll go through that half series vinyasa we did earlier in our practice with our knees on the mat. So let's come to our mountain pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Soften your knees. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, reach your hands to the mat and step back to your down dog. Stretch. And of course, you still have your option to use the chair. Inhale, glide forward to plank. Drop the knees as an option. Lower your belly down to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release down. Inhale, push back up to your knees. Tuck your toes, lift the hips, down dog. Take as many steps as you need to bring your feet towards your hands to the top of the mat into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands next to the sides of the body. We'll move into sun salutation B, and I'm going to use my chair, but you can use the mat as well. With sun salutation B, we start with a chair pose. So let's inhale to chair, sit. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Option hands to the chair as we step back to our down dog or hands on the mat. So take your choice of a half series vinyasa. Glide forward to plank. If you're on the mat, you can drop your knees, bend those elbows, drop your hips, or take your cobra pose. Press back to your down dog. Now from here, we lift the right leg up into three-legged dog. And we take a big step forward toward the top of the mat with that foot. We plant the back foot down, warrior one. And you can bring your arms to any position that you like for warrior one. So Sun Salutation B has 3 half series vinyasas in the sequence. So we've done one. Now we're going to do the second one. So inhale to prepare. Exhale, hands to the floor or chair. Push back to your downward facing dog. And here's your half series. Gliding forward to plank or kneeling plank. Bending the elbows, lowering down. Dropping the hips, up dog or cobra. Pushing back to your downward dog, holding there. Then we lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Step that foot forward and set up for warrior one, planting the back heel down with a little bit of turnout of the feet, the right foot. Take any choice of arm position that you want to do for your warrior one. And then there's one more half series vinyasa in the sequence. So we'll inhale to prepare. Exhale, hands to the chair or floor. Push back to your down dog. Now, if you don't want to do your third half series, just stay in down dog. That's okay. Or we'll glide forward to plank, chaturanga, up dog or cobra, and back to your down dog. Then we walk our feet all the way up to the top of our mat. We find a forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale to your mountain pose. Great. Now, if you need your chair for balance, I'm just going to spin mine around so I can hold on to the back of it if I need it here. Let's come into tree pose today for balance, standing tree. So using this just as a little option here, we'll stand on our right foot and we'll see where our hip flexibility is. Maybe go out and in a couple times with your knee because you want to see where your knee points to without moving your pelvis. So you can just go out and in a couple of times. Your big toe can be on the floor. You can be here at the ankle. And then find where your leg feels most comfortable. And then see if you can release the chair, and you can do anything with your arms here that you would like. Now fine-tune your posture. Find your focal point or drishti and your gaze, and it's okay to keep a finger on something just lightly. You know, it really does help success in your pose. Let's take 2 more breaths here in our tree. And then slowly release back to mountain. And then just move your hips and your knees a little bit, because that standing leg definitely really has a lot of work, a lot of stabilization. Okay, so let's do the other side. Sometimes I balance a little bit better if both of my toes are slightly turned out. So let's find the other side, find the range of motion of our hip here. And mine are definitely much different because of the hip replacement surgeries. I don't know. I've got more tightness in one side than the other. But maybe when I have my other knee replaced, maybe it's because of that. Maybe I'll have a little bit more comparable flexibility. Okay, so find your position with your tree. Again, your big toe can stay down on the floor. You can be, where we don't want to be is to put our foot up on our knee. So some of you might be able to come all the way up into here. I'm surprised I can bend my knee replacement that far, but anywhere except for on the knee joint. And then let's let go of the chair if we can, and balance. And exercise your patience. You might feel like, oh, this is so good, I'm so rock solid, and then boom, you fall out of it. That's okay. Sometimes that's how life is, right? So just take your time to find the pose again. Take a couple more breaths. And then come back to your mountain pose and just check in. Nicely done. So we're going to come down to the floor, or you can stay in your chair for a couple of stretches that we're going to do. So these are gentle hip openers from a seated position. So let's come all the way down. And we'll start with a butterfly pose where we have the knees open. And with butterfly, we have quite of a range forward where our legs can be. We don't have to feel like we have to tuck them all the way in here. When I do, I start bending over. So to get a nice straight back, let your feet slide forward a little bit or sit up on a cushion or a block. That's going to help get your pelvis stacked a little bit. And then if this is a really good stretch for you just to sit upright, or you can even bring your hands behind your back to open up your heart, then this is a really good stretch for you. Or we can allow the hands to just gently rest on the inner side part of the knees to kind of press them open a little bit. Or we can bring the hands toward the ankles and shift our body forward. Now, if you feel that in your lower back right away, then I'd rather you back up and be more here so it's not as intense in your lower back. What we don't want to do is reach for our feet and pull ourselves down by holding onto our feet. Not very good for the ankle joint. So let's find where you feel comfortable with this, and we'll breathe. Slow breathing or that sinking breath. All right, eyes are open. We'll come into modified pigeon or full pigeon. So what I'm going to do is bring this leg around to the side and fold over this front leg to stretch the hip. Or if you like a full pigeon, this leg that I brought to the side can extend back on your mat and you can roll forward a little bit into your pigeon stretch. So let's take about a full minute in that pose of your choice. And to be honest, I feel it where I should be feeling it just as much when I don't have this leg behind me. But the benefit of bringing the leg back is to open this hip flexor. So if you need that, then slide that leg back so you can open the front of your hip. If you can, relax your forehead down onto stacked fists. And this is a wonderful stretch for the deep external rotators of the hip, the piriformis area. But be careful with it. Sometimes we think it feels better to go deeper, but it can also put a little bit of strain on the SI joint in the back. So make sure we're not overstretching. And maybe about 3 more breaths. And take your time to press up. And then we'll spiral this back leg, pull it back in, open the knees back to your butterfly for just a moment. Definitely feel like my body's leaning like this because one side of my body is stretched so much different than the other. So then we'll take this leg, spin it to the outside, and then just drop your chest over. And then relax into it. Decide if you want to extend the back leg back a little farther. If you're using a chair, you can do a seated figure 4, or maybe rolling onto your back and doing a reclined figure 4 is a better choice. Lots of options to get the same effect from the stretch. So in our practice today, we have had a very well-rounded practice, from moving through gentle range of motion to strengthening with the option of weights, with lots of chair poses. With our kneeling half series vinyasa, we got a lot of upper body work in that. Then flexibility work in that series with the kneeling lunge and the twisting prayer lunge, the hamstring stretches. Then moving into full sun salutations, linking things together with the breath. Then finding a beautiful balance pose, and then some deep flexibility to finish. So press yourself back up. Come back to your butterfly or Baddha Konasana. Just to pause there for a moment. Sit tall. You can slide your feet away. Or if sitting like this feels better for you right now, you can do that as well. Or a simple cross-leg pose. All of that is wonderful. Great job. Now let's go ahead and bring the legs out into a bit of a straddle stretch. Sitting in a chair is good for this as well. You can sit really close to the forward edge of the chair and then extend your legs out. Your knees can be bent any amount. And we're just going to tuck the right hand underneath and stretch over to the right, opening up the side body on this left side and stretching through the hamstring. And we can flex our feet to make that stretch a little deeper. And we'll come back up. The left hand tucks under, the right arm reaches, and make this feel okay for your shoulder. And we'll come up. Hands come behind your body to give yourself a chest expansion. See if you can get your fingertips on the floor behind you and use your fingers to push your body a little bit forward. And you can stay there, or you can bring your hands in front and walk yourself forward with the hands to the front and just relax and breathe. And if you feel too much tension in your lower back, that's where you're going to come up and not make it quite as deep. And rise. And just find a nice, easy, simple cross-leg pose or seated in a chair just with your feet on the floor. We'll take 2 circles with the spine starting to the right. So we're going to go right and forward, left and up. One more. Right, forward, left, and then we reverse, moving left, forward, right, and up. Last one, just to remove any tension that might be remaining in your lower back. And then we'll take a full breath together to close our practice together, sweeping the arms up. Press the palms to heart center. Allow your thumbs to touch your sternum. This creates that bond, and it represents gratitude and honor. And I am grateful for this opportunity and so honored to guide you today through your practice. Thank you so much for joining me with LisaBug today. The light and joy that resides within me honors the light and joy in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. If you happen to log in a little late, I've got to take off today to the Y to teach. So I will see you next week. Send me a little message and let me know how you did today. And love you guys lots. Okay, take care. Have a great day.